Hiya, Squishes, and welcome to a little squish under the stairs with me, Kate, and some of the knits. Oh, yay! That's right, I am back, and don't worry, I have not abandoned you for YouTube. It's just mostly, like, we know how I can talk a lot about a lot, but sometimes you just need a little bit more airtime. So that's where we put in some of my longer videos, especially about the Catelets, on there so you can catch up and have a decent bit of time listening to me chat. But we are still on for Under the Stairs with me, Kate, and some of the squish. Yay! And today I am enjoying another day, well, the third day, of there being no children here. And if you can hear in the background, John and I are on a bit of a work break. Hence why I'm with you under the stairs. Woo! There's some drones whizzing around. I say drones, one drone loudly whizzing around outside. That's John getting his fun in. And this is me getting my fun in, spending some time with you. And what am I knitting today? Well, today I'm picking up a project that I started a little while ago, which is my rainbow squishy dot blanket, because there are so many projects to be done all of the time that sometimes you don't know where to start. So what I did know is that I'd finished something. My super squishalicious slubby blanket like this. I cast this off, I think it was yesterday. Yes, because we went skating. Oh, yes. That's why my legs are hurting today. Oh, did I tell you I go skating? Oh, new lease of life. Oh, fun. Also, like, it makes me feel like I'm flying like a child. I'd recommend it to anybody, even if you're afraid of breaking some bones, like get some skates on, just do it on a mat. I love it. So on the way back from skating, I finished the last couple of rows of this. And by the time it got to late last night and my eyes were tired, I'd managed to put the edging on, which I am in love with. This was inspired by a wildflower meadow, which I see often outside of my window in the beautiful spring and the summertime. And I like the idea that sometimes my knits can provide me with a little bit of a snapshot in time. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just want to capture a feeling or a thought or a memory or a thing. The longer the days go by, the more years that pass whilst I live here, and the more I accumulate knits. Like if you saw my video on YouTube, you would see my other knits. There's a lot of knits. There's a lot, and there's one here. There's a lot of knits. I kind of feel like I have two colour personalities emerging. One of them seeks the calm, tranquil peace and quiet and bird song of the outside, which I enjoy through metal detecting, evening walks with the girls, I love that, and just every time I walk outside my door. And then there's the other side of my personality, which is kind of like, wow, let's pack in all the colour, which is why I always have this as a backup, because even though I'm doing some work on this, and I finished this, also, Squishmail, if you would like to know the adaptation notes for these, it'll be in your Squishmail later. I like to go full on colour, which is something a bit more like this. So I'm adding some colours to my giant tube, which is never ending, which I love because there's no like start and stop to it. So that's where I am with that. So I've been knitting and finishing things off, which I'm starting to work. Do you know when you need to work out your knit groove? I've worked out that sometimes I like having lots of projects on the go, and that works great. Other times, if I have too many projects on the go, I get like divided. It's like there's too many whips that desire my attention, and I just can't fulfill everything's attention. So I've enjoyed the whole start, stop, like finish a knit experience lately. It's quite motivating, which means I've managed to get 2 blankets done in 2 weeks. Yep. And due to the progress and the fact that I've knit some quick knit blankets, I wanted to pick up my rainbow blanket from the Squish Club, the Rainbow Club, because I also have a crochet project on the go with this as well, which I'd love to show you. But this is virtually the same pattern as these two. So every time I knit it, it's like a whole different experience. Can you hear the drones? It's quite funny. I can. It's a whole different experience. And this version of the pattern is also on the website, download for free, this one here. And then you can use any rainbow colours, but this one was designed for the Rainbow Club, along with some other squishy delights I've got going on. Some socks. Do you know, you just look, that's another chat for another day. So far, rainbow blanket, like you can do any color squish. And talking about any color squish, I was debating whether my next squishy blanket, because this is a good example of the sock weight blanket shawl. I asked my mum to make this one because I was just, it was at the time where I had not yet developed the temperament for long-term knits, like long-term knits. Whenever you knit with sock yarn by itself, it's a commitment. So my mum knit this one for me, which I love. I feel like I'm talking in a tube, which I love. It's got My Little Mermaid and teal, which the combination just reminds me of just like, oh, look at it. All those different colours. So you can just get a very simple effect right down to Rainbow Crazy, Wildflower Meadow, in the garden in autumn with all the flowers and stuff. Like, look, this is Powdered Garden. Like, there's so many colours that are just like branching off. So I am in a quandary as to what to start next. Like, seriously, after I cast off one thing and I'm like, oh yes, I'm like, what do I do next? So I've thinned down my projects and I'm thinking, maybe you can help me. I am thinking either starting a scrappy version of this, because I do like, these are such lightweight knits, 4-ply knits, so lightweight, and they do take a long time, which I also love, you know, which is opposite what I said when I said the long tedious knits. And I said tedious because I never really got how enjoying it could be to do the same thing repeatedly. There you go, boom. I never found joy in the repeated action of doing the same thing over and over again. But since by now I've dyed a whole heap of yarn and knit a whole heap of stuff, I'm kind of like enjoying the repetitive nature of knowing where I'm going. It's nice. That's what it is. I like to know where I'm going sometimes. You know, I'm up for an adventure, which is what's going to be in like the clubs that are coming up, like landscape adventure, colorscape adventure. Where will we go? Like, I love having an adventure, but sometimes it's quite nice to have a road that you've traveled a lot. Like, you know your way home. I know my way home. I know my way home. I know my way home. And I'm just accentuating it or making the experience more enjoyable by cramming colour in. But because you can't just squish everything together. Well, you can, but all roads sometimes do lead back to brown, which is great in doses. But if you squished everything together, you wouldn't know what you would do. It was just for me too much. So even though I do have colorways that have got everything in it, but that's different. It's different. It's all in one already. I feel like I've got two different sides of me emerging. So the question is, do I go scrappy, 4-ply, sock weight, squishy dot blanket, or go for another, because this was only 400 grams, which is what, this was a challenge. What can I get out of 2 skeins of slub and some squish in between? Like this, which is, to show you some pictures of it on. Or I could go with a sunset vibe. Even then I'm like, what color sunset? I mean, I don't even know which picture to start with. Picture to start with. Oh, like, what about something like this? I feel like I'm answering my own questions, but feel free to jump in down below, because I do like some input, because sometimes I can get like sucked down a hole with certain colors. So I was thinking like a sunset from maybe the inside out, or maybe some black with some silhouettes. Do you see what I mean? This is the problem I get when I cast off a project. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. Oh no, what now? And then I have to start the whole thing all over again. Like, sometimes I imagine it would be great if somebody just gave me a list of things to make, which is essentially what I'm trying to do for myself. Like, if I could have a list of things to make, I wouldn't have to think very much at all. Because we all know how much time thinking takes up. Like, that's why I like routines, because I don't have to, I'm going to think about it any much, very much more, at all, anymore, ever. Which is why I make a routine to knit every single time I get to sit down. True. Doesn't matter where I'm sitting down, if I just pick up my knitting and go. And that's what helped me get into knitting all the time, because you might be thinking, you don't have a lot of time to knit, but look at all this stuff. Oh yeah, I'm like an exam crammer. I will not knit for ages. I'll just and then I'll just cram it all in, and I'll just bust it and maybe bust up my shoulder at the same time. So it's not the greatest example of knitting, but that's the way I do it. But there you go. So I'm in a quandary. Where do I go next? So until I can decide, until further notice, I'm just going to put a couple of rows on this and see what you say down below, because I'm not in a rush to start today. Well, I might do later. Do you know you have that hankering? I've got that. So pop your comments down below. And I shall see you for next Squish Under the Stairs. And also, if you want to be on my Squishmail to find out about the Kate Love pattern and more squishy goodness, go to the website, join Squishmail. And also, there's some stuff on YouTube too. Because, you know, I like chatting. And I like seeing you. It's so nice. Oh, well, anyway, Squishers, I shall see you soon. Bye.